Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to TMC News. I'm here to bring you the latest updates on the ongoing situation in Gaza. Israeli commanders have been deployed throughout Gaza as the bombardment continues, with Hamas fighters involved in clashes with Israeli forces. Hamas reports that its fighters are involved in clashes with Israeli forces. The Hamas-run health ministry estimates that at least 400 Palestinian civilians were killed overnight. Aid agencies have lost contact with their workers after all phone and internet services were cut. Heavy artillery is pounding Gaza constantly, and the Israelis claim that they are making the earth shake. As residents of one of Gaza City's refugee camps inspected what had happened during the night, they described it as feeling like an earthquake. Many Palestinians believe that Israel wants to force them out of Gaza, interpreting it as a threat rather than a warning when Israel's army tells them to move south from places like this. As for the Israeli people, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu issued a solemn warning that the war inside the Gaza Strip will be difficult and long, and they are prepared for it. He stated, "This is our second war of independence. We will fight for the defense of the homeland." In the Israeli town closest to Gaza, the streets where Hamas killed civilians and soldiers 3 weeks ago today are deserted. The danger didn't stop Zella Cohen and her son from driving down to bring a picnic to her daughters who are doing their military service. They sat down in a car park not far from the border wire. The war, they said, is about survival, as Hamas has shown it wants to force them out. The situation is tense, and the war is causing anxiety. "Aren't you scared?" one asks. Zella Cohen responds, "I'm scared, but if my daughter is here, so I go. I go where she's here. She's bringing lunch to the soldiers," a testament to the complex dynamics of life in the region. The new phase of Israel's assault started last night with dozens of air strikes. Israel believes that overwhelming military strength can pacify Gaza, but history has shown that military power alone has never brought lasting quiet, let alone peace to this conflict. Israel claimed that one of its strikes killed a senior Hamas commander. Israeli tanks and soldiers have moved forward into the north of the Gaza Strip. Gaza's visible from a hill in Sderot. Israel is resisting pressure for a ceasefire. This complex situation increases levels of anger and volatility in a part of the world that is already very fragile. Israel's ground war has started, and containing it is now the biggest political and diplomatic challenge. Jeremy Bowen, reporting for BBC News in southern Israel, noted that in Gaza itself, most people are now unreachable. The UN states that ambulances and civil defense teams are no longer able to locate the injured after the communications blackout in Gaza. Correspondent Rashi Abu Alu was finally able to get through to us. He mentioned that the north of the territory surrounding Gaza City was hit overnight on a scale never seen before. He sent us this report from the southern city of Khan Yunis. Communication has become very difficult in Gaza since Israel cut all communication. The two main mobile carriers are not functioning, and internet lines are down. Very few people with international SIM cards can roam using Israeli mobile services. People close to the border can still communicate, and local radio stations are functioning sporadically. In the north, last night's air strike was the biggest ever, described as akin to an earthquake. An Indonesian hospital was struck with an N strike yesterday. It had been out of service for a long time, and today the main building was destroyed. There were also numerous air strikes around Shifa Hospital in Gaza City, where most of the roads toward the hospital have been cut off. Communication remains extremely difficult, making it impossible to verify reports about the number of people dead or injured. The health ministry stated that about 400 people were killed overnight, but they reported hundreds more missing under collapsed buildings in the north. This is a complex and ever-evolving situation, with no easy solutions in sight. In Gaza City, Israel has intensified strikes near Al-Quds Hospital and ordered its immediate evacuation, which is raising alarms at the World Health Organization. The United Nations chief reiterates the call for a ceasefire to end the nightmare for the people of Gaza and Israel. Doctors and the Palestinian Red Crescent in Gaza report that Israel has ordered the evacuation of a key hospital in Gaza City. Al-Quds Hospital, where 400 patients are being treated, faces significant challenges in moving them, as around 14,000 civilians are sheltering in the hospital and its grounds. The Israel Defense Forces, IDF, confirm that more troops entered the territory overnight, while warplanes attacked more than 450 Hamas targets. The situation in Gaza remains critical, with communication severely hampered. Ambulances and civil defense teams are struggling to locate the injured due to the communications blackout. As the conflict escalates, concern continues to mount in the international community. Stay tuned for further updates and subscribe to our channel for more news coverage.